Is blindness a barrier? No.
Is deafness a barrier? No.
Are mobility, learning, cognitive disabilities, speech impairments and others, or even a combination of them, barriers? No way. Lack of accessibility is.
Welcome to Web Accessibility for All.
Follow the blind. This journey starts now.
Late afternoon. Warm light settling between two maple trees. A breeze moving the edge of the table clock. I'm sitting in the backyard of Carolyn, just enjoying the moment. This place is beautiful.
Oh, you're very welcome, Ariel. I like sitting out here. It's one of the few places where time slows down a little, you know?
An afternoon in Carolyn's garden.
To understand how people interact with the digital world, sometimes you need to step back into the physical one.
When hands begin to change.
Carolyn, how your days are changed, especially when it comes to using your hands.
Well, the changes crept in slowly. You don't notice the first signs. Just lids that feel harder to twist, or mornings when holding a cup feels heavier than it should. For a long time, I thought it was just getting older. That's what everyone around me said. But then it started showing up in the little things I used to do without thinking. Buttoning a shirt, opening the mail, and eventually using my phone. That one surprised me the most.
What part of it changed?
At first, it was the tiny taps. I'd miss buttons or hit the wrong thing. But then came the gestures everyone takes for granted. People talk about just swipe here or just pull down, like it's nothing. But those movements, they take more out of me now. Some days, even unlocking the screen feels like more effort than it should.
What do you do when that happens?
Sometimes I just put the phone back down. Let it ring. Let the notifications pile up. It's easier than forcing my hands to do something they don't want to do.
Carolyn, would you feel comfortable sharing what's behind these changes in your hands?
Oh, I don't mind saying it. I have arthritis. The kind that settles in slowly and makes itself more permanent every year.
That word, arthritis, carries a lot more weight than people think. Not just pain, not just age. It's a condition that changes the way hands move, bend, rotate, and recover. When someone has arthritis, the joints become inflamed, cartilage wears down, movement becomes stiff, swelling changes how you grip and press, fine motor control goes down, and repetitive motions can trigger pain that lasts hours or days.
Megan arrives with her own story.
As Carolyn finishes her thought, we hear the sound of a car pulling into the driveway. And a moment later, her daughter, Megan, steps through the back door.
Hey, Mom. Hey, Ariel. Nice to meet you.
You look exhausted, sweetheart.
Yeah, traffic was a nightmare.
Everything okay?
Yeah, just too many stop-and-go stretches. My hands were killing me on the steering wheel. I brought donuts.
Oh, wonderful. Do you want a cup of tea?
Could I get a lemonade instead? My hands are acting weird today. I don't trust myself with hot cups.
Long day at work?
Everything just feels slippery. Even simple stuff. Holding the steering wheel, typing, lifting things. Sometimes I feel ridiculous, like my own hands are working against me.
Megan is only in her 30s, her challenges are different from Carolyn's. The phase of her life, the expectations from work, the pressure to keep up with fast, gesture-heavy apps. Megan, please tell me, when did all these start for you?
Well, let's see. It wasn't like a single moment. Just little things. Tiny stings in the morning, my fingers not bending the way I wanted when I typed. I kept telling myself it wasn't a big deal. People my age don't usually, have hand problems. But it didn't go away.
And eventually you had to look into it.
My doctor said it was an inflammatory arthritis. That word felt too big for me. I remember thinking, that's for older people?
What does that do to your daily routine?
Well, sometimes I put my phone on the table and use both hands because it hurts less. Sometimes I use voice commands when they behave. And sometimes I just avoid things altogether. Reels, shorts, stories. People don't realize how much swiping is built into everything. You can't just scroll a little.
Alrighty. Lemonade for you, sweetheart. Ariel, your tea.
Ooh! I love you, Mom. Did I tell you?
The hidden weight of everyday gestures.
Actually, before you stepped inside, Megan and I were talking about something that affects both of you.
Well, people think phones are simple because everything is just a tap. But it's never just a tap. It's tapping tiny icons, or tapping fast, or holding your finger perfectly still when the screen wants you to. If my hands are stiff, my finger lands slightly off, or I tap too long and suddenly the phone assumes I'm doing something else.
Yes, and the screen doesn't forgive you. Every little movement means something. A long press, a drag.
And what about compound gestures? I mean, those tricky fingers combinations.
Zooming is probably the one I avoid the most. You can't pinch with stiff joints. I try, but my fingers won't open or close smoothly, so the image jumps in weird steps.
For me, sliders. Volume sliders, brightness, scrubbing through a video. I mean, my finger doesn't move in a perfectly straight line anymore, If I lift my finger just a little, the whole thing resets. Some days, I just listen to videos at the wrong volume because I can't land the slider where I want.
I do that too. Sometimes I leave a TikTok or Instagram video halfway through a sentence because I can't scrub back a few seconds.
It isn't silly. These gestures were designed for bodies that don't experience pain. Apps assume speed, but pain slows movement. Motor impairments, arthritis included, don't just affect strength. They affect control, speed, consistency, and the ability to repeat gestures without pain.
Sometimes, I just feel tired before I even open an app, like my hands are already negotiating with me.
I know that feeling, sweetheart.
Where mobile design fails real hands.
Bodies change across a day, across the years, across a lifetime. Interfaces usually don't account for that. The micro-hesitation before touching a screen. Will this tap hurt? Will the finger obey? Let's go through what they experience every day.
Interface is built for fast, confident fingers.
Most mobile UI patterns assume you can tap precisely, move quickly, correct mistakes instantly. But when your fingers swell, when they refuse to bend naturally, when the pain spikes with pressure, those assumptions crumble.
Tiny targets that punish shaky or stiff movement.
Pain changes how fingers land on a screen. They drift, they tremble, they overshoot. For people with arthritis, every tiny button is a negotiation between pain and precision.
Gestures that demand strength or stability.
Designers love to hide actions behind gestures, but these movements require grip strength, joint stability, and smooth coordination.
Dragging, the silent enemy.
Dragging is one of the worst interactions for arthritic hands. Dragging requires continuous contact, steady pressure, controlled movement. For many, dragging is not just difficult, it's physically impossible without pain.
Zooming and panning that assume finger coordination.
Arthritis often affect fingers unevenly. One finger can move, another can't bend. The thumb may lock. Zooming becomes a clumsy, painful improvisation. Pain builds up, fatigue builds up, inflammation builds up. Modern mobile UIs rarely think about endurance. This is where design truly fails, not in code, not in branding. Design fails when it expects all hands to bend, press, glide, recover, repeat, many times a day, every day, forever.
What better design looks like?
1. Make targets bigger, not prettier.
This is the first fix designers can make. Bigger targets, bigger hit areas, more spacing for real physical accessibility.
2. Reduce gesture-only interactions.
A lot of actions rely on gestures alone, but those gestures require coordinated fingers that may not cooperate. So, designers can pair gestures with visible buttons, avoid actions hidden behind pressure or long presses.
3. Provide alternatives for dragging.
Maps, sliders, timelines is one of the hardest actions for people with painful finger joints, so we can offer tap through arrows, jump to controls, input fields for precise values, shortcut buttons, scrubbing that doesn't require pressure.
4. Design for fatigue, not just immediacy.
Apps often assume users interact for a moment, but people like us interact dozens of times a day. Texting, navigating, banking, buying groceries, checking schedules. Every painful tap adds up. So, the real question for designers is how to reduce effort.
A conversation for the future.
You know, sitting here with both of you, I keep thinking about the future. Not just of technology, but of the people who will design it next. The students, the junior devs, the designers. What do we want them to know?
I'd want them to know we're not fragile. We're not helpless. We're just people whose hands don't move the same way yours do. That's all.
I think I'd want them to remember something simpler. That pain isn't a rare thing. It's not this, dramatic moment in a hospital room. It's in traffic. It's in the grocery store. It's in stirring a cup of tea. Or trying to zoom a picture of a recipe on your phone because your fingers won't pinch properly that day. It's subtle, but it's daily. And if apps added just a few options, bigger buttons, or controls that don't run away from your finger, my whole day would be easier. And you don't need to redesign the whole phone. Just one thing. Stop assuming everyone can swipe perfectly every time.
Accessibility isn't charity. It's not a special feature. It's not extra work. It's simply acknowledging that hands get tired, joints swell, fingers lose precision, aging happens, life happens. Design should meet people where they are. Thank you both, Carolyn, Megan, and to everyone listening, thank you for being here with us on Web Accessibility for All. Until next time, take care of yourselves and take care of your users. Goodbye.
Thanks for joining us today. Subscribe for a new challenge next week. And don't be shy. Leave us a review or ask your accessibility questions online. See you next week for another episode of Web Accessibility for All.